Galatians chapter 3, verses 15 through 18 reads this way: To give a human example, brothers, even with a man-made covenant, no one annuls it or adds to it once it has been ratified. Now the promises were made to Abraham and to his offspring. It does not say, and to offsprings, referring to many, but referring to one, and to your offspring who is Christ. This is what I mean. The law, which came 430 years afterward, does not annul a covenant previously ratified by God, so as to make the promise void. For if the inheritance comes by the law, it no longer comes by promise, but God gave it to Abraham by a promise. In our lives, we make many promises. The unfortunate part about these is that we often violate the very promises that we make. There are certain promises or covenants that we make in life that are legally binding, and to break them would be legally and criminally liable. Years ago, a company called me as an expert in my field to investigate a problem that they had in a printing machine that they had purchased. While I will not go into the details regarding the machine, in short, the problem was that it would not print the product for which it was designed and sold by the manufacturer. I went and examined the machine and discovered a major design flaw in the equipment that was creating this problem. Now, sometime after presenting the facts to the company that hired me to do this work, I received a call from their lawyers. They needed me to serve as an expert witness in a legal suit against the manufacturer of the printing press for breach of contract. The contract was ratified, it had been ratified by both parties as evidenced by their signatures. And then money was transferred and the machine was delivered, and then they found out the machine wouldn't do what it was designed to do. So per the lawyer's request, I put together a detailed report together with all the engineering details and documentation that was necessary. Ultimately, they settled the lawsuit out of court, and I'm not sure exactly what the settlement was. I wasn't involved with it. But the point is this: a legal contract is in fact a covenant agreement between two parties, and neither party has the right to change the contract once it is ratified. This is the point that Paul made regarding the Abrahamic covenant. Paul indicated that God made a covenant with Abraham some 430 years before he gave the law to Moses. It was separate from the Abrahamic covenant. And the law, which came after, could not nullify the covenant that was previously made. If the law would have nullified the promise, this would mean that God would function in a capricious manner, that is, in a suddenly changeable and unpredictable way. It would mean that we could never have any certainty regarding the way God deals with us. We could never have any true certainty with the promises he has given to us. Yet this is not the way it is with God. He is immutable. That is, he does not ever change and always keeps his promises. He's not like us. Praise the Lord. This is clearly seen in the scriptures. In Numbers we read this: God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and he will not do it? Or has he spoken and will not fulfill it? The word written in Numbers says that God clearly has the character of being unchanging and holding to what he has said. Paul has also indicated a vital truth to us in this passage. And this is that the covenant that God made with Abraham was not to be fulfilled in his offspring, plural, offsprings, but in his offspring, singular. It was not in all the Jewish people, but in one Jewish person, Jesus Christ. He was the seed of Abraham, through whom all the nations of the earth would be blessed. Jesus is the fulfillment of the covenant, and in him we who believe have become heirs to the promise. We are now in this season we call the Advent season. When we look at the birth of Jesus. And as we consider the birth of Jesus, we ought to be rejoicing as we see how miraculously God fulfilled this Abrahamic covenant promise, and how God fulfills every promise that he's made in the scriptures to us. He promised that through the seed of Abraham, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. And this has been accomplished in Jesus. God is faithful. He's not like us. And as he has promised, he will fulfill. And we can count on every promise that he has made to us that we read in the scriptures. And we can stand assured of our blessing. We can stand assured of our inheritance. And we can stand assured of our glorious future, because God has promised this to us who believe.